Hi guys, my name is Timo Becker. I'm the creative director of the invitation. We are Tool One. That is Martin. Martin
Hi.
is the visionary behind the game and also the lead game designer. And yeah, today we talked about the thoughts on the game design on Bammsters or with Bammsters. I'm not sure. Yeah, join us. Will be fun.
Hello guys and welcome back. Welcome back to the episode of the Bammsters podcast. My name is Bamm Havoc as always, and we have for you guys today a treat especial. Joining me is Draconis. Draconis, say hi.
Hello. You did it again, you son of a bitch.
Yes, I did, because you always give me a shit intro, so I did it to you today.
Every time we do one of these, I'm like, okay, we do a little bit of chit chat before. We like everybody to get to know each other a little bit, calm down, and then give it give me 10 seconds of just quiet so I can see that gap in the audio, so I know that's where to cut. Nope. Bam's just like, okay, are we ready? All right, we're ready. So, hey, everybody, we're back.
No, but he always gives me a terrible intro, like Buenos Dias, Senorita. I'm like, what? No, just say hello.
So joining us today, also we have Martin and Timo. They're joining us to talk about their game called The Invitation, which is in an ongoing Kickstarter right now. So, guys, say hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Please note they both use the same hand.
At this point, yeah, hi is not enough.
Hi is not enough.
I'm the Martin.
Yep.
What would you say in Germany? It's a Guten Tag or Guten Tag?
Guten Tag.
Yeah, or from Hamburg, it's more like Moin.
Moin.
Yeah,
right.
Moin, which is good morning for most people out of Hamburg.
Yeah.
But here you can say it all day.
Yeah, you can say it like ciao for introducing yourself or for leaving.
Yeah.
Right. Fair enough.
Oh, moin.
Moin.
Just sounds a lazy way of saying morning. You say morn. Done. Bye.
Yeah. That's the easy way.
Right, guys, we got you guys on here because you guys are developing an MMO on Kickstarter as well, and we came across it because we like games and we like indie games, and triple I is a phrase that's been thrown around quite a lot lately, and we thought we'd get you guys on, and we basically poked G with the angry stick and got him to get contact with you guys. Now you guys are here.
Yeah,
thanks for coming along.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
good to be here.
Oh no, our pleasure for having you guys on, because we're keen to talk about video games. We're keen to meet people who make the video games. So, first question is, where in the world are you?
Well, they just said that.
I know, but they got I know one's in Hamburg and one's in Germany, but where in Hamburg? Hamburg's a pretty big place, and where in Germany? Because Germany is a very big place,
Yeah, I mean, right now everyone is in home office anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at home in Germany.
Office.
That's what you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working from home office most of the time, actually.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Can you actually do that? Is that actually a thing? Can you actually do that? Do you have to go to... Are you guys realizing there is actually a need to actually have an office, or can you just develop from home?
It's working, but we would prefer to work at the same place, obviously. But right now we are not in the situation to have a proper studio.
Yeah.
So right now everyone is in home office, and we hope to be there as soon as possible.
Well, and you say
everything takes a little longer because of this. But and you have to plan it a little bit more accurate.
You say everyone.
You can't just go there and say, "Hey, do this now," and it's done. You need to wait for an answer. Oh, yeah, you can do this. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a lot of screen shares and overpaints and stuff, which you could avoid by just being at the same place, I guess. But it's okay. Yeah.
So you say everyone. How many are there?
Sorry about that.
How many of you guys are there?
It depends. So full time, it's basically just 3 people, or I mean, Steven is not exactly full time, but yeah, Martin and I, we work full time on it. Steven at right now, half the week. I don't know, is it half time in English? Not sure. And freelance support. Depends a bit, but in average per day there's 4 people working on it. But the team size is it's the core team is 9 people.
Okay.
But yeah, most of the stuff is being done by the 3 of us. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I've just from the intro video and stuff that's out on Kickstarter and YouTube. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, thanks. I mean, there's also a lot of. I mean, the stuff from Marketplace is helping a lot for this for the visuals. So we since what you have to do to make such a game is quite a lot for a small team. We decided to put the time we have in the stuff that's really necessary to have unique regarding art, and to focus on that, and stuff like rocks and trees that can be, I mean, yeah, there's not really storytelling in trees, so there's a lot of stuff that we can use from the marketplace, and that saves a lot of time. And same with some animations. Yeah,
and the game really needs a realistic look to be immersive, and that's one of the key points of the gameplay.
Yeah.
So players really feel immersed in the world, and we decided to go for a more realistic look, and more stylized in the UI and in the interaction between the players. If there is something to see there, graffitis and such, but the environment overall is more realistic. So the marketplace is a really good place to get realistic assets.
Yeah.
And as an indie studio, this is amazing. This is really the marketplace is perfect. It's cheap. It saves working time that can be used elsewhere to do the stuff that's really needed for the game, that makes the game unique, and you don't have to focus on the things that don't really matter too much on the visuals in terms of visual storytelling specific for the game, which takes up a lot of time if you don't do that via the marketplace. And without such a thing as a marketplace, a game like ours would not be possible by a team so small like we are.
I understand what you're trying to say. Is basically what you're saying is that you're using storyboard assets to define the bits in the environment that aren't part of the story. However, you're using your own unique creation to actually tell a story within that environment. That environment needs to be very high def, and you guys have actually got the environment from somewhere else. The environment is just as an integral part of the story, but not the actual story. You know, you guys are creating your own sort of bits and pieces. I mean, how many times have we played Destiny or Division and we've seen the same police vehicle every other freaking place, you know.
There's no point in
AAA do it too.
Another, there's even for AAA studios, there's no point to model
it's just managing costs. It is just managing costs. Now, I understand that, because there are some developers out there that will just buy all the assets and basically just link various bits and pieces together using the assets, whereas you guys have actually just said, no, right, okay, we need the rocks, we need the trees, we need this, but the story we're creating and the character we're creating and so on. And from what I've seen, I don't have a problem with what you've done. I know there are some other ones out there that have been like, that asset's from there, that asset's from there, that asset's from there, and these assets are being used to create a story. No,
Yeah.
I think
you're drag drop developing. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's
There's no
okay.
love in it, you know.
It's okay as long as you don't use it use assets for the things that are important for the game. If you do that, if we like put an asset for the drone, that would be a problem, I think, because
I think it
the
would,
drone is really important. We wanted the drone to be really really friendly and happy, a nice feeling for the players to have if they get a package from the drone. This should be a really positive thing, and if we use an asset there, like a random drone that looks like a military drone or something, well, the feeling would not get across, and
you would just get
be a problem.
You wouldn't just get the wrong feeling. You get a lot of kickback from people who play the game because they recognize the assets, and you haven't done any sort of work to actually make the game what it should be. And I understand that. I'm just glad you haven't really got Peter Dinklage for the drone voice. However, as I say this right, I was a big fan of Peter Dinklage being the drone voice. I loved the way he spoke. I think he was poorly directed personally, but that's again my honest opinion there. But happy days.
Well, speaking of the drones, one of the things I wanted to ask about them
is great.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to ask about the drones was, do they have some kind of AI? Are they somewhat intelligent? Or are they more or less just kind of tools that you just give them a direction and they go out and do what they do? Or do they have their own personalities? Or
we intend to have different delivery services that use different drones, and all of them are like little crazy people. And the first of them is the Happy Drone Deliveries service, and they have like these drones that are old and were built a long time ago to just be a happy drone system. That was their intention at that time, but now they are a little shady and do stuff that is maybe a bit out of the normal things you do as a delivery service. And the drones over time got crazier and crazier.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the storytelling part. I'm not sure if you meant regarding game design, like gameplay AI or storytelling. So in gameplay, these are just delivering services.
Okay.
These drones, but there are drones like a bit more in the future planned that also do supportive stuff, like defending you, like some different supportive aspects. So there's more interaction with these as well. But the drones we start with are just there to send resources to your friends or to strangers or to you.
In the future, we want to change things up a little and give them different behaviors depending on from which company they are. Okay. So at some point there will be variations in animations and such, and yeah.
Okay.
At the moment, they just fly over the map and get closer and closer, and then they drop the package, and that's more or less it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and we're also, I know we're jumping a little ahead there, talking into the drones already. What I should have done too is had you guys give what I like to call the elevator pitch for the folks that are listening or watching at home. Give them an idea of what is the invitation. So if you had, just a few minutes to kind of explain the game to someone, the reason why it's called the elevator pitch is like if you're stuck in an elevator with somebody going between floors and you want to convince them to take a look at your game, what is the invitation?
First of all, I would pull the emergency thing.
Go watch the Kickstarter video.
I got a bit more time. Yeah. So the game, to put it in a nutshell, to give a first idea, is a first-person PvX MMO game, and it's all about player interaction. What makes it really different to other games is mostly that the environment and the players dynamically create quests. And yeah, that's the main thing of the game, and how this shows in detail in like regarding in game design is that the game is not designed around mechanics, like around shooting, because it looks a lot like a shooter and kinda is as well, but it's not all about shooting. It's more about the idea of maximum player interaction. And not just a lot of player interaction, but also like really intense player interaction and different kinds of player interaction. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, and the idea how we achieve this is we give the players different kinds of, internally we call them invitations, things that the player get invited to do, and they have a lot of different follow-up things that the player has to do if he wants to like profit from the thing he got, and all the points they have in like they found or they have to do after that, all the points can be interacted with by other players. So we force the player to have a lot of follow-up actions after an event happened or he found an item or something like that. He has to do a lot of follow-up things, and all the follow-up things are things other players can interact with him. This is what we call an interactive a dynamic quest system.
Yeah. So the thing that jumps in your face in the beginning the most is like that players create quests. That's the thing where people are most like, oh wow, this could lead to this kind of interaction, that I put a bounty on you because I don't know, I hate your background voice or whatever. But and trading and planning attacks with other players or calling for help. So that's the most the element we work with, which is best used as a hook. But actually there are other tools that are even more important for the game to work in the way we want it to have. So one of the other two main elements we use are the PvX events. So if you saw the teaser, the alien you see in the end, that's the first PvX event that we have in the game. So these walk around and look for basically garbage, but they also find valuable loot for players. And to get that loot, you have to kill these aliens. Or if you want that alien to create another alien at some point, you have to let it live. So there will be players that want these aliens to survive, to create more aliens. Other players want to have the loot. And if you want to have the loot, the fight will take a while, will be loud. Other players might join you and shoot you down. And so you kind of want to team up, but you're not sure if you can trust your teammates. So there's a lot different ways to interact. And that's the first event we implement. And over time, there will come more and more and more of these events that happen on the maps. And the other main tool we have are our special environments. So when you found something, or basically whatever happens in the game, it gives you a new quest, but not like you're not being forced to do such a quest. It's more like it feels like it's more like you want to do this or that. So, for example, you find an item, then you need to make that item usable first. So, for example, if I shoot you down and I want to use your artificial limb, I don't know, your leg, to unlock an ability, then I have to hack the DNA first, and therefore I need to hack it, or I need a better hacker, and
When you said hack, I thought you meant X.
No, it's more like
chop it up.
Yeah, it's a little mini game to hack it.
So many questions from all that. Okay, so I guess one thing I want to cover real quick, just for any folks that may not be familiar with the term PvX. At least my understanding of that, PvX is to cover when it's player versus environment, when all that happens. So is the entire world that you play in also PvP, or is there only sections like these PvX encounters or certain areas within the map that are PvP, or is it the entire place is PvP?
Everywhere. There's basically no safe space, just a menu.
So to achieve maximum player interaction, you need to have all the options at any point and everywhere on the map. Because if players know how to behave in certain areas, they tend to understand what is asked of them by the game. If they don't know, I mean, at some point we planned for a marketplace where players can gather and they can share stuff with another and trade and stuff like that. And if the players would know that this is a safe place and you can't shoot each other, that's an entirely different environment to trade and to behave whatever. It was like if you were able to shoot if the other player was like betraying you or something. I mean, if a trader wants an item from you and then he doesn't give you what you want to get from him as a trade, then you have to like find another way. But in our game, you can just shoot him, and this possibility has to be open in a maximum player interaction game. So to achieve this, we really have to give the players all the options at any point in time and any point on the map.
Well, so you mentioned the bounty system earlier, and I'm curious because other than the bounty system, is there any kind of punishment for maybe, say, a player who's put a lot of time into the game and built their character up and basically just kind of runs over new players, or is the bounty system the check on that?
So first thing is, I mean, the bounty system is is a part of our justice for sure. So in two ways. One thing, if you tend to shoot players down, you tend to be hunted the whole time. So you'll have a pretty rough time. So that's the first. But also we have a flat progression system. So it's not like you play for hours and you grow stronger and stronger and stronger. So the progress is more like you have more options the more items you find. But more options are not like really stronger. So you decide if you want to have a module for your weapon, for example, to have more damage, but then you have more sway as well, or more recoil. And same goes also for your artificial limbs. So every equipment element, every item comes with an advantage and a disadvantage. So it's not like you get 1,000 hours of playtime and you roll over everyone.
Okay.
And that's also why when you die, you don't really start you don't have to grind to actually do something.
So and we want the players to have a a form of a reset. In a game like this, we want to introduce more decisions you make over time that really have a lot of follow-up in the decisions you make. Means that you did something wrong can really hurt your gameplay over a long time, and maybe, or I'm sure players want a reset at some point, that they have a lot of waste of wrong decisions in the back, and they just want to leave it behind, and more or less it's okay to die in our game, because at that point you have a full reset and you can start all over and decide differently the next time. So if you for some reason have a problem with some of the AI, we want to have the AI learning about you, then you have maybe done something wrong to the smugglers and they know, and you want to change this in the future, you have a really rough time and a lot of quests ahead of you to make them forget, or you die and you can start over again and decide differently the next time. So permadeath is a rough tool on one side, but it is always like a cool reset for you as well.
I do have another question. The way you guys are describing this game makes me want to ask this next question. What was your inspiration for making this game? Because actually, I'll tell you what. I'll listen to your answers first, and then I'll come up with what I think this game reminds me of quite well. But what was your inspirations?
Okay. Yeah, this is really special, actually.
Yeah.
Martin, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. It was in the beginning. It was just a thought experiment, just thinking about what games are all about. And we studied game design. Stephen and I did our master's degree in game design, and we talked about playing, why humans play, why certain animals play, what's the logical reason behind this. And from this, the game idea was more or less like a philosophy about what gaming and playing means. And the idea behind this was, we started with the idea that interaction between humans in a society, or humans in like pairs or groups, small groups and bigger groups, are a way to express yourself in games, and are the only real challenge games can offer that no other like media can offer. For example, in a movie, you can't like prove yourself in interaction with another one. You can just see what the author of a movie or a book intended you to understand about this, but you can't really get your own take on this. In a game, you can always do the things like you want them to do, and you want to see how this evolves. And this is what we thought gaming is all about, and we just thought about what would a game be like if we really focused on this thing alone, and it was like more or less a thought experiment.
I mean, if you look at animals, or also at humans, like kids playing, it's all about learning stuff. Whatever you play, you do it to learn something that you need later in life. In video games, you tend to not really learn stuff where you feel like, yeah, sure, I learned this for this and that. I mean, there are some games where you have strategic decision-making learning, or also team play or stuff. But usually the effect of learning that is fun for you is more like the games tend to give you the feel of having learned something in just making you stronger. So you play a while and you don't really learn that fast. I mean, in competitive games, you get that feedback by just getting better. But in most games, it's more like, hey, here you have a more powerful sword that you can equip. And it gives you the feel of, I learned it because now I can kill enemies with one hit instead of 3 hits. So that's why this feels fun, because you just want to learn and get better at stuff. And we were like, okay, what can games do what can you learn in games?
Yeah, there is many facets of video gaming. Whereas, for example, you're talking about first-person shooters where you get instant gratification for your own innate abilities, and there are other facets where you get satisfaction through time investment. You care about the character, you care about where you go and what you do. The way you've described Invitation is reminding me of shockingly similar of a lot of things that happen in EVE Online.
Okay. There are many similarities. I never played it though, but
EVE Online, a lot of people call it a glorified spreadsheet game, which I do see. Drac agrees with me on this one. However, you invest the time into your character skills. You never lose your skills that you've invested the time into. However, you lose the augments that your character has. So you've got various bits and pieces attached to you. You die, you lose those. You every skill level you go up, you then have better options with choices that you can make, and the more choices you can make, the better you're able to play the game. But you're invested into the character because you've spent the past 3 months getting him a better ability to mine said ore more efficiently, so you can then sell it at a marketplace. But on the way to the marketplace, like you said, you get your ass blown out the sky because of a pirate coming along and finding you. And now you've gone out, put a bounty on the pirate. Someone then hunts the pirate, kills him, gives back your stuff. You take it to the marketplace, sell it. It's very similar. And this is the bit that fascinated me about Invitation. It's a long time coming for a game like this. Yeah. PvP. It's PvP, PvE, whatever. No. It's PvP. It's a better version than DayZ. And DayZ was a lot of fun. But this is going to be more, if this works out the way I think it's going to work out, it's going to be better than DayZ. More violent. Because survival of the fittest and all that.
Good to hear. Yeah.
It's not a survival game, however. But
no, I'm not saying it's a survival game. No.
DayZ for a lot of, we like DayZ a lot because of there is a lot of player interaction there. Yeah.
A lot of player interaction, but like you said, there is no safe zone. If I don't give you, I don't know, 40 rounds of GPG, whatever ammo I have here, and you just blow my face off and take it, and whatever else I've got lying around. But then I come back, put a bounty on you, kill you, get my stuff back. It's very cutthroat. But then, isn't that how the real world works?
Yeah.
Yeah,
kinda. It's how the real world works. That is how the real world works. Between humans, yeah. Human interaction, yeah.
But it's not like it's the most efficient way to just kill people and grab everything they have, because there's also stuff that you have that I cannot loot. So, for example, the resources that you have in stock and didn't get delivered yet, I can't loot these when I shoot you down. And I kind of need you alive to get the full potential of the loot and to not get the punishment for like bounty hunt. The more efficient way might be to just down you and then negotiate with you. Hey, I kind of want that part of your equipment, or maybe then the talking starts. So you have a down state, where you cannot shoot, you cannot walk or run, but you can still use voice chat and you can still create quests. So you can also call for help in that state, but you can also negotiate, or you do both at the same time. Yeah, and while you are downed, I can also loot you. So it's not really effective to kill you at that point. I could also take the stuff and let you live, and maybe you're a bit less pissed because I let you live, and I maybe didn't take everything, because the items are not, there's no power level in the items. So it's not like I down you and I feel like, oh wow, I found this legendary item like in your backpack, and so I really want to have that. It's more like I have a play style that I prefer. So for me, an item feels legendary that might be crap for you because you just don't like this kind of modules.
That's very DayZ. Oh, shoot someone, and then once he's down, talk to him. Yeah. And say, right, I'm doing this. You stay there. Very DayZ. Very brutal.
That's how you make friends in online games.
Yeah, that's
first you shoot him down, and then the talking starts.
Well, I don't know how you make friends online.
I'm a Timo Singed main. I don't make friends online.
Fair enough.
Well, so you've mentioned a couple times now aliens and replacing or augmenting limbs. I saw in the literature that the game takes place in Eastern Europe in 2081. But I'm curious, is it explained? Is there a story like a backstory that you're introduced to when you go into the game? Where did these aliens come from? Are all of the aliens somewhat animal or monster-like, or are there aliens on the planet now that are also friendly and you can trade with? Do you get to play as an alien as the character? And where did all this cybernetic technology come from?
There's a backstory, of course, behind this. The humanity got introduced or invited to be part of an interstellar network of a very almighty, super powerful alien species that is like I don't know what it's called, type 3 species, like using almost all the energy of the galaxy.
There's a top 1, top 2, top 3.
Yeah.
1 is the planet, 2 is the sun, 3 is the galaxy. Yeah.
They are like all around the Milky Way, and they just learned about the little planet, the little blue planet, almost on the edge of the galaxy, and they just found life here, and they were like amazed. Yeah, life again, cool. We can learn maybe something from that, but like they always do, they introduce the life form they find, if it's intelligent life, to the network and leave it. They are so powerful they don't care.
Yeah, they basically acquire intelligent species and connect all of these in a huge network.
Hang on, so they had their Star Trek moment with the Borg. Yeah.
I don't know.
The Borg, they are not evil, or they are not. There's no positive or negative thing about those aliens. They are just
they
there.
Just
and
want to learn and connect
stuff,
intelligent species and grow.
But that's what the Borg do.
Okay,
they're not evil.
I don't know.
No, the Borg assimilate.
Yes, but they're not evil. they're not evil. They just want to learn.
Nobody is evil when he sees it from his own side.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a matter of perspective.
Matter of perspective. Yes.
Now they're just curious, and they are so powerful. They just don't care a lot. They just are interested in different forms of how life evolved, and that's that's their point. But the network, the using of the network is with all the connected species. So the humans are just one of many different intelligence that are in this network, and all the aliens we see, this junk eater alien from the trailer, for example, they are just side products of this environment, and they found somehow they found their way on the Earth and wander around here, and they change the environment the players now live in, and change the decisions they have to make to live on Earth. And yeah, we think about a lot of different versions of aliens that can have their own way to survive and to use the network for themselves, and how humanity would react to them, and then we introduce them into the game. So that's
but regarding storytelling, maybe important is for humanity, this whole network thing, the invitation, what happened 30 years earlier, that this ancient alien culture connected the Earth to the network. What a good thing for humanity, and because with that network, we got way more resources. There's no energy problems at all. So there are wormholes from where you can travel all over the network, basically. And mankind started to just live in metropolises. Is that the right word?
Sure.
Not sure.
Big cities.
Yeah.
Big city. Yeah.
And yeah, from where you can travel to these wormholes. So that's where life basically happens at that point, 2081, and where our game takes place. These are the outlands where just people live that do not have an option to live in these metropolises, because they are they need to hide, because I don't know, they are criminals, or because people just decided to not live that kind of life. So that's why you don't see much of that positive change in life for mankind, and it looks a bit dystopian, but with sunshine, basically. But
the idea behind this is to make people that play the game have an option for achieving a better life. So all the people you play are at a point of their life where they can do anything they want, and it would have only an impact on themselves. So all the decisions, they are basically free to do whatever they like, because they have nothing to lose and everything to gain at that point in their lives. And that's when you start playing them. And the way they do this is they have no, like the player, they have no knowledge about how the world around them changed in the way it did. They have only a knowledge about how their decision making works, and they have to prove themselves with the right decision making to maybe gain a better life. Yeah, that's the idea behind the setting.
And the aliens regarding gameplay, Martin, maybe you describe the next planned event, like the plague.
Okay.
Or plague. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we have every time we introduce new alien species, it has a new. It's only for a new kind of interaction that does not happen in the world like we know it. For example, we have smugglers that are just like normal people, hiding goods, hiding contraband goods somewhere on the map. But if we want to have something that is not known to the normal human life as we know it today, then we always decide for an alien species to represent this in the game. For example, the next event after the Junk Eater event is the plague event. Yeah. And this is an alien species, like a parasite species that uses the network for. They are not very intelligent, but they are evolvable, very adaptable to situations because of their way to reproduce very fast, and they corrupt the environment that is connected to the network. That's how they evolved over time in the network. Okay. And they corrupted the Earth as well, so they start to infest all the areas people live in, and for the players this will be a huge problem because they spawn all around the maps, and if the player base doesn't play together to hold them back and to fight them off, they will get more and more, and the punishment for all the players gets more and more extreme over time. So players that work on this, that fight we call them spore crawlers, will be hopefully very, very positive members of the community, and people will respect them for their work for everyone. So there are ways to express your position as a spore crawler hunter by items you gain from stepping up in the scoreboards of killing more and more spore crawlers.
Well, see,
so with the scoreboards you can achieve better. You can achieve skins that nobody else can achieve if you are in the higher percentage.
So you also cannot loot these skins if you kill someone high on the scoreboards. You just get these by climbing up the scoreboard.
Yeah, but see, the thing I like about that is you have things like the permadeath and the bounties and stuff like that to give some kind of negative reinforcement to we'll call it bad behavior. But now you have a story thing that's introduced into the world to reinforce positive, cooperative behavior. So that actually I really appreciate. I think that's really cool. That's very creative. I like that.
Oh, cool. Cool, thanks. Yeah, we try to put as much different kinds of player interaction in there as possible, because then the kind of player interaction becomes an actual decision. Otherwise, it's just, if there's just the option to shoot players, there's just tactical decision making. But you are not like, should I click this head or should I not? That's also why the execution works I can loot you even if you are just downed, to make a decision if I really kill you at that point. Yeah.
Okay, so let me see if I got this right. The way I've just had this game described to me. So you've got Han Solo flying around a Borg interconnected universe, all right, with everyone trying to stay away from the flood, okay, because they're using the actual network to infect the rest of the third phase interconnected civilization that are so powerful they don't really care. That's a massive undertaking, and I know I've completely just butchered everything by putting in basically placeholders of things that I understood from what you were saying, because Han Solo's a smuggler, and you've got a smuggler, you've got the Flood who's from Halo, and it's a massive undertaking. How are you guys managing it? Obviously Kickstarter's funding it, but how are you guys able to do something like this just with 9 guys? It's fantastic.
A lot of this is we start very, very small. A lot of this is is just the beginning, and a lot of things are just far away now. The idea is to implement the core game and to just work with as few things as possible in the beginning, and start the game from there, and then over time evolve it more and more, adding more and more modules of gameplay to it and more options of decision making over time.
Yeah. So the alpha testing, what it needs to start the alpha testing and to have it feel like not like a finished game at that point, but to have fun playing it more than like 10 hours. There we just need. I mean, you don't need that much content to make it work. So for the if we talk about the 3 tools we use to create the different kinds of player interaction or to force these, I mean, for the player generated quests, there just needs to be a lot of game design behind it, but not content that you need to create. And for the compounds that players fight around, you need the compounds, but there's not around that. There's not too much content to create. And then we just start with the one first event that you saw in the teaser.
Yeah.
And the next event will be this alien species that
infest the map.
Yeah,
Flood.
and from that point on, it will play as a full game title, and then we can add more and more events in. But you don't need these events content wise to have proper gameplay. It's more like they fit in really nice and give more addition in how the game feels. But these are not elements that are core for the gameplay experience.
It's good to see you guys have a way ahead. It really is. It's really good to see you guys have a way ahead with this map. I'm cutting you off there, dude, because we're coming up close to the hour, and I need to ask these other questions because I'd love to sit and talk about one minute topic, but there's just so much to discuss, and I'm going to stop myself from fucking talking now. Feedback, right? When it comes to feedback, I know putting yourselves on the internet is like feeding yourselves to the wolves, all right? But have you had good constructive feedback? I'm not talking about the trolls, because that's just useless information that no one cares about, but good constructive feedback. And have you implemented that feedback in the game? Are you listening to your customer base?
We got a lot of really nice feedback from Discord, but not from other comments, I would say. Not from I mean, there's a lot of on other platforms, a lot of feedback is more like, this will be awesome or this will be shit. So you can't really work with that. But there's a lot of constructive feedback and also ideas on the Discord. So we got a channel for community ideas, and there's a lot that we marked out as future ideas.
Actually, we are super happy with our community on Discord. The people there are so awesome. It's great to we chat there every day with them, and a lot of people are open with their concerns and open with their ideas, and they know each other well right now. And from the beginning on, it was really active and super cool to see them interact with us. And it is great, and we know a lot more about the problems we have to conquer over the next time. And this is a perfect place. Discord is a perfect place for interaction with the community.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you've mentioned that you guys have got a community base behind the game. I'm going to stop you there, Drac. I know where you're going with this. No, not yet. You guys actually have a community behind the game, because a lot of Kickstarter campaigns start and then fail because they haven't actually done the research into actually acquiring the base first and then launching the game with the base. They just go straight to launching the game and then acquire the base through Kickstarter, and that tends to fail. It's good to see you guys have actually got that. You mentioned platforms. What platforms are you going for?
I mean, first, a platform is like, not. For beginning, we start with just Windows, and then Mac and Linux, and then the rest needs to be discussed a lot, not just because of, console ports. We have some technical things that we don't know at this point, and also the controls will be kind of tough to put on a controller. We didn't put much time into that, like to see if there's a good design for it. So at this point, we don't really think a lot about that. We get a lot of questions in that direction, but yeah, there's other things that we need to point out earlier. Yeah.
Start small, think big. I like that.
Yeah. At first, the testing has to be fun. We really need the testing phase to be fun, because we know if it's not fun, then the testers stop playing, and if they stop playing, we have no player interaction. So we really need to work on the state of the game that is fun to play, where the bugs are not too annoying, and where everything is like, where the players can see how it's intended to work at some point, even if it's not at that point. And such things are the most important.
Yeah, that's also, you mentioned Kickstarter and the community you bring to it. We had some issues when going on Kickstarter. So right now, to be honest, it does not really look like we will make it. We still can, but we thought about what would we do if not, and at some point we decided, because of that, even if that doesn't work out, we still test with our Kickstarter backers to still give them access in that case, because we need to test as soon as possible with more than just the developer team, because if you test such a game with 9 players, then have fun.
That's not a big sample size.
That's
not a big sample size. You need a lot more people. Yeah. But you guys are just over 10%, and you guys have got about halfway left to go. And in my experience, it's the last sort of 10 days that really matter when it comes to Kickstarter.
I fear it's more like the first 10 days usually. Yeah, what
we've seen is a lot of folks is it's the first week and the last week. So it's kind of a combination of those 2 weeks. The middle is kind of quiet, but the first week you can get a lot of hype, and then the last week before it ends you can get a lot too.
We'll see how it goes.
And every backer is a potential test player anyway, because just backing gives a key, and
I don't mean to upset the apple cart. We're asking about the Kickstarter stuff, but it's good to see, and it's a good question to ask, because a lot of people don't necessarily have a backup plan for after Kickstarter, and it's good to see you guys actually do. And you guys, okay, if this doesn't work out, we're still going to do these things and then provide people with something. So it's actually good to see. It's good to see.
We just need more time. On Kickstarter, we say like in May 21 we can start testing, but obviously if we don't hit our goal, then we have less money, and then we cannot keep working full time at this point. So some can still work full time, but not the whole team. So we don't know at this point how much more time we would need. But yeah.
Well, we did talk to a developer.
It would be more time, but it would still happen. So yeah.
Yeah, we did talk to a developer one time. They had a failed Kickstarter, but they went on and they actually set up a Patreon and got quite a bit of support that way for people who were wanting to actively support the game development. So.
Yep. Yeah. And they did it that way, and the game's out. It was a game called Lord Winklebottom Investigates, and her first Kickstarter failed. Realized where she went wrong. Did a new Kickstarter. Got the Kickstarter, and then did it.
And to be honest, we made a lot of beginners' mistakes, and maybe these crazy times are not the best times to launch a Kickstarter anyway. So if we work on our problems, for example, a lot of our Discord members had problems to know about the Kickstarter at all because there was because of the Corona crisis, a little bit of communication problems going on and stuff.
Yeah, the partner program got paused.
Yeah.
We didn't have an announcement channel, so we had more than 3,000 people on the Discord, but I think around 100 or 200 got the notification.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that was a pretty rough start.
I'd be in tears. I would be in tears.
And on top of that, we are not really experienced with the PR things. And we did a few beginners' mistakes, I think, and here and there some mistakes, and all this adds up. And we are not really sad about this. This is all like
baby steps.
Sometimes, and we learn from it. We have to learn from it, and we have to do things better in the future. And we evaluate all the mistakes we do as best as we can.
Learn and grow. Yes.
Learn and grow.
Learn and grow. Drac, the final question.
The final question.
Well, this is I have so many more questions I could ask because there's so many interesting concepts wrapped up in this game. I've got to say, at first you see the trailer and visually it really pops. It looks very interesting. It being set in Eastern Europe and future times, and you're mixing in aliens and cybernetic replacements for limbs and stuff. All this stuff kind of hits different points that makes it interesting for me. And then the way that you guys have actually thought about discouraging bad behavior, encouraging good behavior in story type ways is something that I find impressive, rather than just maybe the same old game mechanics that have been around for a while. So that's all well and good. The game looks really cool. However, as Bamm says, the final question, as he likes to call the penultimate question for some reason.
The penultimate question.
Yeah.
Before the last one.
Yeah, it will be the last question we ask, though. But
it's not the last question we ask.
Well, I guess if we ask them to put a bacon drop in the game, it won't be the last question. So
no, no.
But no, something we like to ask everybody on the show is, what kind of bacon do you prefer? How do you like it cooked? And what kind of alcoholic or non-alcoholic, if you don't drink beverage, would you pair with said bacon?
What if we didn't eat bacon?
You would break my heart.
This is the saddest moment of your show ever.
Right. Well, you're not okay. We've had a couple of vegans on, and there's something called seaweed bacon that they eat. And I tell you what, a little piece of my soul broke off when I heard that, because it's not bacon, it's seaweed.
Yeah. To be honest, there's no plant that tastes as good as bacon.
Yeah, you can't supplement bacon.
Yeah.
No. There's a guy we had on who had a Kickstarter for a book all about making bacon. And he said himself, you can taste the difference in the meat of how well the pig was looked after. If it was mistreated, the meat tastes different. And I'm thinking, you make so much sense. So please, You can learn a lot about people from that simple question. What bacon do you like? How do you like it cooked? And what drink goes with it? You know, a lot about people from those questions.
Yeah. I would go for, if I ate bacon now, I would go for beer. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Or in the morning, a black coffee.
Of course we go for beer because we're Germans.
Yes, but beer, what type of beer? Isn't there like a local beer you guys decide to drink?
It depends a lot on the weather. What kind of beer I prepare.
I think it depends on the age. The older you get, the more like you drink the sweeter versions of beer if you're younger, and the older you get, you drink more and more of the bitter versions.
Huh.
So
I think
when I was younger, I was more like a Beck's type. I don't know if you know that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A beer from
it's a good, that's a decent beer.
Yeah,
I never really liked it, to be honest.
Yeah, I changed.
Well, you don't have to drink beer. You can drink cider, or you can drink wine.
No, there's other beer.
Yeah, I changed to a Jever type of person over time.
Yeah. I don't know the English word, but Weizen is the kind of beer I like most.
Wheat beer?
At the moment, or Schwarzbier. I don't know if it's just called black beer.
Stout, I think. It's like Guinness almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also like Guinness a lot.
Guinness is good, man.
Yeah.
The thing is, you don't pour Guinness, you slice Guinness. You know, it's
but
just
you can't drink.
Yeah, but I don't like it from a bottle. So if you
nice thick breakfast bacon.
Irish.
Nice thick breakfast bacon with some Guinness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sounds like a good Monday.
Sunday at this rate, because right now it's 20 to 11. I'm not going to have bacon just yet. Tomorrow morning's breakfast, I think. Yeah. I've got some stout. I think I might have it. Yeah. Right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us today on our little podcast, and thank you very, very, very much for talking to us about your game.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to go to Kickstarter and support you guys, because a first-person shooter version of Eve just sounds fantastic, brutally fantastic. So I'm going to go across and support you guys. You know, G does this because he knows I'll spend my money.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you a lot, man.
Another game I'm supporting on Kickstarter. Thanks, G. Cheers.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much. The game looks pretty amazing. The concepts behind it look pretty cool. So for those of you watching or listening, if this looks like anything that you might be interested in, definitely go check them out and support them. Looks like the Kickstarter's running through the 5th of June. We'll also have links where you can find out information, Twitter, Discord, and whatnot, so you can keep up with things regardless of how the Kickstarter should turn out.
Yeah, do we have the Discord links, Twitter links, YouTube links?
We do
all
the game
links.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, we also stream on Twitch the development. Yeah, if people are interested in that.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Peek behind the window or behind the blinds, behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the window.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Happy days. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.